Congratulations, Judy. This is your brand new Hyundai Kona. We will send that your way soon, but I want to go over a couple details on the vehicle, just because I won't be there to go over with you, so you have this video forever. Excellent. Now, actually, what I wanted to showcase for you is first and foremost on your new car. You have full LED accent lighting, your headlights down in the middle here, and your fog lights down below. A couple things I want to put on the front of the car is, down below here is your lovely block cord. This little sensor here is your lovely parking assist or forward collision assist. That's going to keep you from avoiding any collisions. As well, there's another camera just tucked above, and that's for marking pedestrians as well as keeping you in your lane. With the vehicle, along the side here, one of the things I want to mention to you, Judy, is that all this black trim, it serves a great purpose. A, it makes the car look more rugged and sporty and fun, but two, it prevents any scratches, damage that becomes rust down the road. So it is beautiful, it serves a purpose, and then the one trick with this here for you is tire shine or shoe shine, bring back that nice black sheen after you've had the car for a few years. Around the back, I'll show you before I get there, on the side here, this is your proximity key system. You'll notice in the evening that when you go near the car, this lights up. Mostly though, this button lets you in and out of the car. You'll notice you have the key right in your pocket, and then with it in place, as so, you can lock the doors. As well, you can press the same button to open the doors. So you get used to that, but it is a wonderful feature. You wonder how you live without it. And around back here, is mostly with your new car compared to your current electric. You'll have your lovely camera, which is some real plastic, of course. And then two, these little divots on the bumper are your lovely sensors. So what those do is that's what beeps when you get too close to an object. Two, those sensors also tell if there's traffic coming in either direction. And I'll explain that further in the next video. Alright, Judy, so a couple things I want to mention again is your backup camera. As well, this is the handle here to lock and unlock the doors. What's beautiful about this is that as long as the key is nearby, within 3 feet, you can just walk up to the back of the car, press the button, and it'll unlock for you. And if the key wasn't nearby, the trunk will stay locked. Around the back here, a couple things I want to mention and bring to your attention is mostly storage space. And then lastly, floor space. This tray comes up easily. This whole bottom tray is frontal, so you have a lot more space in the trunk area itself. Two, in the back of the vehicle here, you have your dome light, a little bit of hidden storage, and these tie downs are for keeping things from sliding around the back of the trunk. As well, this privacy cover does come off very easily. With your privacy cover, again, it just pops off like so. You have a little more space, but again, when it's on, you have a little more privacy as well. Now, as far as the back of your vehicle, it's getting easier. Just put it back on. And the two little straps here, get that to the top. Around the side here, what I want to show you is how to fold down your seats. So again, you can either fold them down by reaching inside over here, but I'm going to give you a better view from around the side here. Now, as far as folding down the seats, Judy, getting easier. Just a matter of pulling the lever down like so, and the seats will fold down flat. Alright, Judy, I just want to show you a couple of interior features from the driver's side. Mostly, you'll notice that your power windows, power door locks, and power mirrors, they haven't changed, so still nice and straightforward and simple. What has changed is you now have a lovely power driver's seat, and then with the seating, I just want to showcase back and forth motion, up and down, as well as tilt, recline, and this lovely lever here is your power back support. So again, you can add more lumbar support for a little bit firmer seat, or you can push the lever backwards and you'll have a softer seat for everyday driving as well. Down below, a couple items I want to bring to your attention is you're going to notice you have your lovely gas cap release, same as the Elantra, as well hood release in the same location as before. A couple items have changed though, and items that you'll appreciate is you'll notice that the interior lighting is nice straightforward, plus and minus, and you'll notice this especially in the evening. This lovely new feature is your blind spot, and that's what's going to keep you from changing lanes at the wrong time. It's activated by default, so that's what the blue light means. But again, when it's activated, it'll give you a warning sound in case anyone is beside you. or driving too fast in the lane beside you. Beside it is your lovely lane departure warning or lane keep assist. That button, again, is also activated by default, but that feature is what keeps you in your lane as well. If you start getting drowsy or drifting, it'll pull you back into your lane as well. Lastly, beside it is your traction and stability control. Same feature you had in your Elantra, but with the traction and stability control, it always stays on to keep you from sliding. But again, if you are in a situation where you need to spin the tires on purpose, so again, you're stuck in a rut, turn it off for that brief moment, give the car a little more power, get going. Once you're free, you're good to go. Alright, Judy, not much that you need to worry about underneath the hood. Again, they'll look after you very well in Thunder Bay. But I did want to showcase to you the only item that should really be of any concern to you underneath the hood, that is your lovely motor. So same location as before in your Elantra, but again, this is the only item that should concern you. And then when you leave the door, when you leave the dealership here, you'll have a full tank, of course. 2, in case you are wanting to check your oil, you have easy access to your oil, coolant, brake fluid, battery, of course, just underneath this cover, and lastly, your air filter. But again, the rest you can leave the technicians and make sure you look after. Alright, Judy, inside the cabin here, a couple things I want to showcase to you right in front of the driver's seat is, first and foremost, your lovely automatic lighting. Again, going forward, headlights stay in auto. You won't have to worry about adjusting those ever again. But in the evening, a couple things that you can take advantage of is the high beams for flashing and or leaving the lights on hasn't changed. So that'll be the same as your Elantra. You'll notice here though, this little lever, which I have in the on position, which you can turn on or off. If it is left on in the evening, you'll notice that your fog lights come on when your headlights come on as well. Off to the right over here is your very, very important wiper controls. Now, with the wiper controls, the front wiper actually stays identical or the same movement. So every time you pull down, it goes faster, of course. What does change is that you now have a lovely rear wiper blade, and to control that, all you need to do is twist the lever up like so. And the back wiper is now going. You have a high and a low setting. But mostly, what I do want to showcase to you is that if it is raining, the front lever towards you sprays, and to spray the rear wiper, push the whole lever away from you. So towards the dash, and it is now spraying the back window as well. Tucked in the middle here, a couple things I do want to showcase to you before you start driving the vehicle is you'll notice that you have all the same controls for your phone, radio. That won't change for you going forward, so this actual layout stays the same as the Elantra. Off to the side here, you have your lovely cruise control in the same location. Cruise, set, cancel, that hasn't changed. What has changed though is you have these 3 buttons tucked in the middle, and these control that lovely center screen. So with your new car, you can see it's a lovely 21 degrees outside. You have 654 kilometers until you run out of fuel. But mostly what I wanted to highlight is that all the instrumentation is nice and simple, whether it be your engine temperature on the bottom left, fuel gauge on the bottom right, and then speedometer and odometer is the same location. What has changed though is that lovely screen in the very middle that shows your range and outside temperature and odometer, it does have a few extra tricks up its sleeve. First thing you're going to notice is if you go up and down with this lever here, you can show information from fuel economy, keep on going, trip computer B, and back to your speedometer, which is very handy. 2, this top button lets you go to the next page to the right. And when I give this a press, you're going to notice that on that center screen, it's going to show you your lane keep assist. Now when you have it on this screen, it's going to show you when you're stepping out of your lane, and it's going to show you how the car is kind of nudging you back in. But again, this screen isn't as practical, but it's there for you to show off the safety features. 2, this driver attention warning system is what reminds you of if you're getting drowsy or if the car senses that you need to take a break. And then when I give this top button a press once again, this will be all your individual settings. Now from here, you do have a lot of controls you can play with. I won't go into too much detail, but mostly what I wanted to mention is that under the first slider where it says driver assistance, you press OK. You can turn off your driver attention warning, so that's what tells you if you're getting drowsy or sleeping. Under lane safety, you can adjust how aggressive the car tries to keep you in your lane. I've left it on standard, so it only tries to nudge you back into your lane once you've stepped over it. But if you were to put it in active, you'll notice that the car is actively trying to keep you in the very middle of the lane. Forward collision I've left on, and then that is what's going to prevent any accidents in case you're not paying attention to the road or a person in front of you stops suddenly. But you'll notice under forward collision warning, you have an option of setting how sensitive the system is. So again, if I press OK, you have late, normal, and early for your settings. I'm going to leave it at normal, and again, that'll give you plenty of warning in case there's an oncoming collision. But you can adjust so it's less aggressive, more aggressive, depending on what suits your needs. And again, rear cross traffic I've left on, and I'll showcase that later. That's a system that tells you if there's someone driving behind you or walking behind you when you're backing out. And blind spot, I'll demonstrate again, is what warns you if someone is in your blind spot when you're trying to change lanes, or if you're trying to change lanes and merge and someone's driving too fast. Otherwise, you have settings for your door, for showcasing when they lock and unlock, lights, and I've set it so that A, when you turn the car off in the evening, the headlights will stay on for about 30 seconds after you turn off the car under your headlamp delay. Sound, I haven't activated it, but you'll notice that you can always turn on a welcome sound, so the car gives you a nice little chime every time you get in the vehicle. And lastly, under parking distance warning, you can set how loud the beeping noise is when you're reversing it too close to an object. And the rest, very, very minor. So under convenience, you can play with the wipers and the warning symbols. Under service, I've already activated so the car will remind you when you need an oil change. And under other, I can play with individual settings from fuel economy, whether you like miles per gallon or liters per kilometer, or if you just want to switch from Fahrenheit to Celsius. But if you press this button enough times, you'll eventually cycle through, and the main page shows your speedometer, and if you're not showing the right information, up and down will let you cycle between the pages. That's all I wanted to showcase to you from over here. I just want to showcase to you your lovely new sunroof. Again, the same pullback action as before, but with your sunroof controls, you'll notice that the dial over here has two functions. A, if you only want to tilt the sunroof upwards, give the button a full press up, and the sunroof will do a small tilt, which is wonderful for highway driving or when it's really windy or rainy. 2, if you want to close the sunroof, the same action, just push it forward, it'll close. And on a much nicer day like today, if you want to open your sunroof fully, you pull the lever towards you, or the driver, and you'll see it slide back in action. Up here, a couple things I want to mention is that you do have a built-in wind deflector / bug deflector, so that'll keep your guests in the back, their hair looking fine, as well as bugs out of the vehicle. And then to close the sunroof, you give it the same push forward. And with the sunroof itself, the reason why it's so much darker is that it's tinted and UV protected for lovely summers. 2, while we're here, a couple things I want to bring to your attention is this little lever is for adjusting the interior lighting. Right now it's completely off, but if you want all the lights on, so again you drop a pen or pencil, push it all the way to the left, and every light in the vehicle will turn on. But mostly what you want to do is leave it in the center position so that A, the lights only come on when you open the door. With that as well, each light you can press individually to activate, and these two little microphones here are for your Bluetooth, so again that way guests or yourself when you're speaking, they can hear you freely on the other end. And again, your lovely sunglass holder. And lastly, just to demonstrate, you have your lovely vanity mirror with lighting, and again, if it gets too hot on the side, the whole visor extends as well. Alright, Judy, I want to showcase you your lovely new push-button start system. Now with this, you'll notice that you don't need a key anymore. As long as the key is anywhere in your pocket, purse, or nearby in the vehicle, you can activate and drive the vehicle. Now, in terms of starting the car, all it is that you need to do to start the car is just step on the brake and give this a press. And the vehicle's turned on and you're ready to drive. Now with that, for comparison, if you needed to, let's say, just sit in the vehicle and not run the lights or anything inside the car, or sorry, not run the engine, all you do is, again, turn the car off, give it one press and it'll turn off. But if you don't step on the brake and you press the button, you'll notice that A, it just leaves the radio on. Or if you start getting a little bit warm sitting in the car, but again, you still want to run the gas engine, press it a second time without your foot on the brake, and it'll activate fully. But at any point that you actually want to start the car and drive away, you always have to step on the brake first and give it a press. With the car, you now have automatic climate control. Very, very straightforward. This little lever on the side controls the temperature, and it'll be an exact temperature reading. 2, on the far right, this dial controls the fan speed. Again, quieter, louder, more powerful, your choice. And then right below it, you'll have a couple controls. First and foremost, off, turns off all the air conditioning or heating systems. Your lovely front defrost, for defrosting the front windshield. And this center dial controls the direction of the airflow. So every time I press it, you'll see that it's blowing on your feet and your face. Feet only, windshield, as well as your feet, as well as your face. So you can cycle throughout, and then beside that lever will be your rear defrost, which also heats up your side mirrors at the same time. Finally, the last button here is going to be to activate your recirculation. Again, the car always has air coming in, but if in case you're driving behind a diesel truck or a pollinated field, if you give this a press, it'll keep the air inside the cabin circulating and none of the air outside that might be dirty or smelly from coming in. From here though, one feature that you do really want to take advantage of is with your automatic clamping control, all you need to do, and like your home, is you set a temperature that you like, and if you hit auto, you can't control where the air is blowing or the fan speed, but on a longer drive especially, it'll be for 22 degrees in the cabin, whether it's cold or hot outside, the car will figure out how to get a perfect 22 degree setting throughout. And again, you can change this to whatever you like. And as soon as you start playing with any of the manual dials, so whether it be the direction of the airflow or the fan speed, you'll notice that it goes back to manual fan controls. All right, Judy, down below, there's a couple controls that I want to highlight for you. First and foremost, your automatic transmission, and this hasn't changed, but as you slide through the gears, you'll see the indicators down below, as well as your center screen. With this here, there's a couple controls laid out beside it that are very important. To the left here is your drive mode, and with the drive mode, you'll notice that every time I cycle through, on the dash here, you'll have the option between an eco setting, which is again better on fuel, a little bit more of a relaxed ride, as well as lighter steering. If you give it a second press, you'll have a sport mode, which again, maybe not as good in gas, but the car is way more powerful and peppy. The steering's a little bit firmer, so it's a little more aggressive, a little bit tighter turning. And then lastly, we have a normal setting, which is your default. And default, or the normal setting, will give you the best fuel economy as well as a little bit sportier handling. Also beside it, you'll notice you have your lovely heated seats, 3 levels on either side. And every time you press the lever, you can adjust the speed, the heat level. Heated steering wheel for lovely winters. And then these two controls are pretty unique. The first one is your hill descent control. When this is activated, and there'll be a light on the dash, which is hard to see. With the hill descent control activated, you'll notice that the car, especially going downhill, will not accelerate downhill as quickly, especially if you let go of the brakes. But again, that's something you're going to use very much if you're driving in a flat area. And this little lever here controls the rear parking assist. So this is the noise you hear when you're backing up and you're getting too close to an object. If you're not fond of the noise, I can give it a press, and the car won't make any noises at all when you're backing up or getting too close to an object. And the final piece, and probably the most important feature, is this locking feature here. This is for your full-time four-wheel drive system. The system in this car is automatic, and it'll come on as soon as you drive through gravel, loose or snow, or any kind of loose surfaces. But if you're ever worried about the conditions outside, feel free to press this button and activate it. And again, hard to see, but there's an icon on the bottom right of the dash. And when the lock is activated, the four-wheel drive system, especially at low speeds, is always engaged. So again, it's a bad parking lot, a bad back lane, you're the first person driving on a holiday where they haven't plowed yet, this is your best friend. And then when it is activated, it does use a little more gas, but rest assured it's going to keep you from getting stuck as easily or stuck at all. Alright, Judy, I want to show you your lovely backup camera. With the camera in place, there's going to be a couple of wonderful features. So again, when you put the car in reverse, you'll see your backup camera there. Now this camera has a couple tricks. You'll notice that when you move the steering wheel, it's going to show you how you're going to angle into the parking stall. And in case you're wondering, blue line is if you went straight back, and then the yellow indicators show what angle you're going to back in if you had the steering wheel off center. Mostly though with this backup camera, and I'm going to demonstrate it with my coworkers, is when someone's walking behind you, it'll activate the rear cross traffic. Now he was very close, but with the system it'll detect a person up to about 15 feet away, and then a car up to 60 feet away. So going forward, if you're backing out of a back lane or busy parking stall, you don't have to worry about not seeing someone coming through because the car will warn you. Again, we still recommend checking, but it is a wonderful system in place. Actually, I wanted to showcase to you the rear cross traffic assist one more time. So I'm going to approach from a blind angle, and assuming that you couldn't see left or right because there's a wall or a vehicle in the way, When I run behind the car, and the same thing when a car drives behind you, it'll activate and showcase which direction the traffic is approaching from. Two, with the car, I'm going to walk right up to the backup camera, and you'll notice that the closer I get to the backup camera, the louder it beeps. As well, between the steering wheel, it'll showcase how close I am as well. So I'm gonna walk right behind the vehicle and you'll see me in the backup camera right away. I just wanted to showcase your blind spot system in action. Whenever there's someone tucked in your blind spot, you'll notice there's an orange indicator that activates. And that stays orange the whole time that someone's tucked in your blind spot. Now with it though, if you're trying to change lanes at an inopportune moment, the blind spot signal or warning sound will activate as well. So again, when you have your signal going, but there's someone tucked in your blind spot, you'll hear this loud warning sound, which I'm going to activate for you right away. And if you hear that sound, it means that it's definitely not a good time to change lanes.